A very warm welcome to the season finale of eRacing GP's Global Edition 6th season. Alex Young alongside Des Corkill to guide you through the final of the Gold Championship, where Naquib Azlan from Malaysia has got a really strong position. But we've already got 3 champions crowned, Alex. Why don't you talk us through them?
Yeah, so 4 classes in total. Yang Ming Chu won the copper class, really young 12-year-old. And then bronze class by 9-year-old Axel Nocom for Philippines, really good results. And we just saw the silver class, Ung Jun Chen winning that silver class, was under big pressure with the reverse grid race, but he was able to pull it off. And in the gold class coming up now, Naquib Azlan has a big lead, but he's still not won the championship.
Indeed, Naquib is the defending champion of eRacing GP. We're on to our 6th season. Naquib has been a real contender in all of the tournaments. He's had 3 second places, 1 third, and he won season 5. He's looking for back-to-back. His nearest rival is his brother, Nabil, but it's not just about them. Let's have a look at how Naquib really took a grip of the championship in last week's race in round 4.
Red lights on the gantry, though we can't see it, but you can see on the graphic there. When they go out, it's going to be green, and we're underway here for the gold class race with the Group C cars. Despite a thin grid, we will expect a great race, and we're underway. Naquib gets a good start of the line, and he's going to get a whole shot with his brother, as per usual this season so far, tucking into second. The Azlan brothers have gotten off to a great start.
It really is. Naquib is almost faultless. Poor old Hamishami, who was way down, he gets a slow down penalty, but Nabil and Naquib leading the way. Inigo Anton off quickly, but a slow start for Ottaviani. Ottaviani already down in P6 ammo. It's a very neat and tidy first lap from Naquib Azlan. Started on pole position, he will end lap number 1 in first position ahead of Nabil Azlan. Inigo Anton in P3 for the Philippines. He looks back at Mohammed Tasbi, and behind them you've got Russell Reyes. Ottaviani is still in P6 and isn't making any real headway on the drives ahead of him, but Inigo Anton, a nice clean first lap from him, Ammo.
No, he's way too far behind, but you know what's interesting? Tasbi got a drive-through penalty for cutting the track. So, that's disastrous then. If he wanted to chase up for podium position, he's going to be out of it by the end of the race. Look at that, there we go, speeding in the pit lane.
Oh, there is Mohammed Tasbi, drive-through penalty. It doesn't look like he's feeling the pressure, but that is a mistake. And well, I suppose at this level of racing, Ammo, a mistake you shouldn't be making.
He actually gets a poor exit coming out of turn 10 as they now go into the downhill straight. Porsche a bit slightly faster on the straight this time, which is quite surprising because we saw the Salzburg rig. It was the Nissan that's faster, going left and right there. That's fair for Tasbi because he can go any way he wants. Ayman has to stay in one position, and Ayman does that and still manages to hold Tasbi at bay.
You can almost see the steam coming out of Tasbi's ears because he is just so frustrated by the excellent defensive work of Ayman Hakim. But this time Tasbi gets alongside. Can he hold on? Ayman Hakim, as you say, aggressively tries to hold on, but eventually, after 2 laps hard work, Tasbi gets ahead of Ayman Hakim Tadashi and moves into P8. Down into turn number 11, the right-hander, no mistakes once again. It's like an easy Sunday afternoon country drive for Naquib Azlan. Comes round the appropriately named victory corner. Naquib Azlan romps home for his 4th race victory of the season. Naquib, it won't be the title, but it virtually will secure it up. He gets into P1. Nabil Azlan comes through in P2. A big smile from Naquib. Inigo Anton will come home completely isolated in P3 to win that Battle of the Philippines ahead of Russell Reyes. Mozik with the commentary there alongside me. Here's how the championship standings look. Naquib Azlan holds a 35-point lead over his brother Nabil Azlan. 44 points available for the race win today, so Nabil still can come and take the title off his brother. That'd be a story. Inigo Anton from the Philippines, mathematically out of the championship chase, but a really good season from the Filipino. And other names to look out for: Josh Perwin, the best of the Australian contingent. There's 3 Aussies in today's field. Mohammed Tasbi once again has been consistent, 4th in the championship standing, 5th in the championship standings with 64 points. Russell Reyes, a very good standout season from the Filipino in P6. Ayman Haziq, Jinmas Vilton, Ottaviani, who's not racing today, and Brody Steen completing a very competitive top 10. In the Nations Cup, which we award for all 4 categories, best racers, best drivers, best 2 drivers in each of the races, Malaysia will top 1,000 points, which is the first time we've actually had that. Philippines, a very credible 613. Singapore also topping 500. In the teams, Stratos Motorsport out of Malaysia, 426 points, will win the teams championship. Blue Steel Racing, FSA Racing, Sim Racing Pilipinas and the Academy all deserve big pats on the back. So there's the statistics ahead of this final race of the season. And Alex, we must mention our sponsors, of course. Our thanks to Royal Selangor for the prizes, for Casio for the official timing, and also to X-Sparks. It's been great to have your support. It's all about the riders, the racers, Alex. And a good season so far, competitive.
Yeah.
Maybe this gold class not as competitive as you'd like it to be.
Well, yeah, I mean, Naquib's just kind of run away with things a little bit. But, you know, we've done a tip of the hat to historic days. We've had a lot of these old school cars in all 4 classes and some old school tracks. We're at Mid-Ohio, which is an old school track. And here it is. You can see 3.634 kilometers, 13 corners. The long straights down to turn 1, 2, and 3, and 4. That's where all the overtaking happens. So sectors 2 and 3 a little bit more twisty. So that's where you don't really get much overtaking.
And we've got a really sweet flying lap. Alan Drake Cruz, who's one of the junior members of eRGP, he talks us around Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course.
Hello guys, my name is Alan. I'm going to be taking you a lap around Mid-Ohio in a Group 4. This car is quite hard to drive because you could break the transmission easily. And it's very fragile, like an old car would be. So I'm going to be starting the lap from here. In the second final corner, we are in the carousel, but I'm going to take you through that corner later on. Through turn 13, into the start-finish. When you go to 4th gear, brake here, go to 3rd late, so you'll be forced to trail and then absolutely floor it after that. A little bit slow that they did not hit the apex, but don't mind that. So coming into keyhole, you want to brake in the middle of the 2nd and 3rd to last board. At the 2nd gear, make sure you stick close to the apex and hit it. Floor it after that, after the keyhole. Then going into this kink, make sure you hit the apex. Then after that, you go wide immediately so you can have a longer straight. Brake after the first board you see. Then you go to 3rd, engine brake to 2nd. Nicely. Stay wide, lift into madness. Then you go to 3rd, shift down to 2nd, hit the curb, floor it. Into the SS, 3rd gear, lift a little bit. After that, absolutely need to floor it. Brake into 2nd. Make sure you hit the apex, off cambered corner. Really hard to nail. Coming into Thunder Valley. You're gonna be on 4th gear. Brake after that 2nd to last board. Hit that curb, floor it immediately after that. Make sure you hit the apex. Press it into 2nd. Into carousel. And then floor it into turn 13, hit the curb, go wide, and that's a lap of Mid-Ohio.
Brilliantly done by Alan Drake Cruz. You'll see more of him in season to come in eRacing GP. Just one race today, Alex. It's a 40-minute reverse grid based on championship positions.
Absolutely. It's a reverse grid race, so it's going to be very tricky. Naquib Azlan will start from the back. He's got a lot of work to do, but he's got 40 minutes, got pit stops. He can do it.
A pit stop is compulsory as we are close to the start of the finale of the Gold Edition. Cam Butler and Des Corkill in the commentary box as we just await the start. The red lights will be appearing in just a moment. There they are, the red lights are on. We will ride alongside, I think, Naquib Azlan to see how the champion starts. Adrian Ferguson will be on pole position when the red lights go off as they do. The 40-minute race is on. We are on board Naquib Azlan right at the very back. Oh, there's been a crash right at the back. Inigo Anton was pushed away and Naquib Azlan as well. I'm not sure who the disappeared. Naquib has got himself up into P7, having started in P15, Cam Butler.
Absolute chaos on the start there as Naquib is making his way up the inside. 2 and 1. Turn 1, or turn 2 rather. Look at that. And a spinner in the rear. He has a spinner in the back. But Naquib Azlan pulling up the P4. He has Naquib up ahead. He's got to be trying to defend as well from his brother Nabil. So he has managed to pass Nabil, and he's managed to stay ahead of Josh Merwin as well in P6, as that was Fasby who had spun there. We have Harris Sami in P1 there, and Ray's in P2 closing right up behind. But Naquib will be looking to keep both Aslans behind, and Josh Perwin in that procession of cars there who are already challenging for P3.
Yeah, Haris Efi Shami leading the way. Young Malaysian Russell Reyes, who's had a really impressive season, wants to finish in the top 3 in this overall championship. Russell, that would be his best ERGP season. He's holding on to P2. Naquib Tadashi in P3 from Malaysia, had a quiet old season as Tadashi. He's in the only Porsche out there, which has given him a little bit of a disadvantage throughout this season. But a good start from Haris Efi. He will be low under pressure as they come into the latter stage of the first lap. But Haris Efi, Kian, oh, he's gone wide and will lose the lead. Russell Reyes is our new race leader.
Yeah, good move there for Reyes. He saw that the P1 driver was going to outbrake a little bit and took that inside line and was able to just make sure they capitalized that. Crucially behind though now, Naquib Azlan up at a P3, past Naquib, Nabil Azman still in P5, but he's only half a tenth back. And in fact, as I say that, he passes now into P4 as well, so the Azlan brothers making their way up. Josh Perwin's going to try and find his way past Naquib as well as soon as he can, and looking on board now with the Australian driver. He is now 7 tenths behind. Oh, actually, sorry, he's past Naquib there as we jumped on board with him. So the 3 drivers, both the Aslans and Perwin, will be making their way up the field, trying to pass one another while passing the drivers ahead.
Perwin is the Australian in the grey. He's in P5 at the moment. In P3, the pink of Nabil Azlan, Naquib Azlan, the championship leader, started in P15 and at the end of the first lap will finish in P4. In fact, he's trying to get up into P3, but Nabil is there. Haris Shami has got to really defend. Nabil looks on the inside. Nabil is in the inset, bottom right of your screen. Naquib goes on the inside. The wannabe champion, the defending champion. What a first lap, Kian Butler.
Yeah, you can see a little bit of a face scrunch here, a little bit of projection there from Nabil as he gets passed by his older brother. But will he look for the move again? He has a double toe, not just a single toe. So can he make something happen here into turn 4? No, as China Beach is on the left-hand side, his brother's dead ahead. It's almost like a family holiday, except they will be sweating not from the heat, but from the pressure that the drivers around them are putting on.
Even more pressure is on Haris Efi Ray, who's in front of them. Haris Efi is he's really riding above, driving a little bit above his class here, but holding on. He's defending very comfortably, but you just look at the agitation in his eyes and the twitchiness in the hands. He's a man under pressure because he's got both Naquib and Nabil right on his tail, and Josh Perwin as well. And we haven't mentioned Inigo Anton so far. Anton is 3rd in the championship standing. He's in the pink livery. He's in P6, and he's another who's looking to get a top 3 finish at the end of the season.
It is very professional setup there. He has his sponsor background in the back as well. He's got himself in the seat, and he is hoping to find himself another position with Josh Perwin up ahead. 8 tenths behind is Inigo Anton. 6 tenths behind is Josh from the Azlan brothers. But the Azlan brothers are just putting all the pressure here on Harris. Well, that's Tyrannus Motorsports times Zephyrian Overlord team in P2. Well, that's a mouthful of a name, isn't it?
Certainly is. Let's just call him Stratos, it's easier. Naquib has a look on the inside, tries to take Nabil with him. Nabil then looks on the inside of Naquib. Naquib goes on the outside. Naquib gets the overtake maneuver, moves up into P2 on lap 4. What a moment for Naquib Azlan, the champion, the defending champion. He's after the race victory. Russell Reyes is next in his sight, and there's still 35 minutes to race.
And crucially, Nabil got past in that scrap as well. Josh is left hanging back in P5 behind the P4 now driver, as Naquib and Nabil will be using using a bit of the toe on each other to make their way up into P1. So we look a bit further back now. We see Inigo Anton is right on the tail of Josh Perwin as well. Only half a tenth. So they will be side by side going to turn 1. Who comes out ahead? It is Josh Perwin who stays ahead of Inigo Anton as they come down into run of P2 now for the Haas Esports team. Bit of a meme, I know the meaning behind it, but I'm not going to share it. As we have Inigo Anton coming up the inside now. He's looking for a better run, but Josh gets a slightly better one. P6, P5 battle really starting to heat up, but Josh has to not get distracted here. He has to find his way past the P4 driver so that he can try and challenge for P3, P2, and potentially P1.
The man in blue, Harry Sefi, he's proven to be an obstinate hurdle just at the moment. This is the battle for P5. A little bit further down, a good battle for Naquib Azlan, as Nasri, who's the third of the Azlan brothers, he goes try to take the rapidly going backwards Ayman Hakim Tadashi. Tadashi is normally so competitive, you can almost hear the steam coming out of his ears. Never mind see it. He's so frustrated with this Porsche, but he's been very loyal to the car, but it's possibly the wrong car to have in this season.
Too many cooks spoil the broth, but many Aslans make light work. As we come up now with Naquib Azlan in P8, and too wide up ahead for the battle is Josh Perwin and Inigo Anton, and they're right on the tail now again of Zephy. So Josh will be looking to make the move now on Zephy, and Inigo will be looking to see which way he goes. And Josh lunges up the inside. He's going to try and hold that inside line. Right on the curb is Josh. Inigo looking for the switchback for the late apex, looking for the run out the corner, and it looks like he has it as he switches to the inside line. Josh goes very aggressive on the defense there. He's running him right to the grass as Josh is side by side with Inigo Anton. They're going to be coming down into the turn 4, and Josh stays ahead for the time being. Will Inigo try and pull out again? No, that is Josh holding on to P5 there. Inigo in P6, and Zephy again is holding on to P4.
We're on board with Inigo Anton, bottom right of your screen. Love the facial expression. As he was eased off, there was a big smile over his face, just relishing the competition, but then not relishing it enough to try to push Josh Perwin off, because I think he knows Josh can be very, very single-minded. And if you take Josh Perwin on, he will force you off the track. Sensible decision, Inigo Anton.
Thanks for the advice. We're going karting with Josh next weekend, so I'll make sure that he doesn't push me off the track. As we have Josh pulling up ahead now, and Inigo Anton is still in P6. He's still trying to find his way past Josh. Zephy in P4 is still holding on. Josh, in 3 seconds now is the gap between Zephy and the Azlan brothers, as 3 seconds is the gap between the Azlan brothers and Ray. So the Azlan brothers in a bit of a world of their own, almost like they're one in the same family.
They're 1 and 2 also in the championship standings. Just briefly got to mention that Adrian Ferguson and Mohamed Hamdani are 2 casualties already. That's a shame for them. Russell Reyes, though, we've been talking about everybody else apart from Russell Reyes, and the Filipino has established a near 4-second lead. That is impressive.
Very impressive. Very impressive is the 4-second lead, and it doesn't look like Naquib has managed to take too much out of it yet, so he's doing a good job here. But remember, it's a 40-minute race. These drivers will be having to make pit stops, I believe, which means that, as we saw in the silver class, the border could be scrambled up to such a degree that the race is almost unrecognizable after the first round of stops.
Russell Reyes, I can tell you, has never won an ERGP race. He's been second, he's been third, he's had a really good season, but he's never been victor. He is on medium compound tyres. Everybody except Josh Perwin, who's on hard compound tyres, is on mediums. So, what does that tell you about race strategy, Kian?
I think that tells me that Josh is going to be playing it a little bit conservative with his tyres, and will potentially either be looking to overcut onto the softs, or he'll be looking at making no stops at all, which we saw was a very effective strategy for a certain silver class race winner.
You must make a stop, I know that, but it can be a very, very quick one. So that might be something that is thinking into the mind of Josh Perwin, who at the moment is battling with Inigo Anton in a battle for P5. Inigo, I tell you what, Harris Zephy has really, really been an obstacle, a difficult obstacle to overcome. Here's Nissan just blocking the way off for Inigo Anton. who will be frustrated, as will Josh Perwin. But let's take nothing away from Haris Zephy, holding on to P4 at the moment.
Yeah, brilliant defensive driving here from Zephy. Inigo Anton will be looking to make a move up ahead. Josh Perwin has a slowdown penalty for track limits abuse, so potentially a little bit of frustration boiling over there for the Australian driver. But it looks like now Inigo is backed off a little bit. Josh is right back on the tail of Inigo through that corner. And these three are really, I think we're going to see the gloves come off in the next lap or two. I think something dramatic will happen, or I think Zephy will just capitulate. Or I don't know. Third option.
Or
Here.
you can't leave it hanging like that, yeah. Let's quickly visit some of the other racers who we've not really paid attention to. Brody Steen, he's in the blue car, under pressure from Mohammed Tasby, who span off early, and Jinmas Filton. I tell you what, that's another family affair. Jinmas Filton in the grey privateer, Tasby ahead of him. Ayman Haziq's had a frustrating time, he's in P12. Up in the battle though for P5 again though. Inigo Anton tries to go around the outside. Haris Zephy does not look like he wants to capitulate. It might need to be version number 3 of your what if scenario, Kian.
Version of the 3 though is the one I don't know what's going to happen. So we'll see what happens here as Inigo is still pushing everything he can out of the car. Remember, there is a little bit of dirty air enacting on Inigo Anton from that big wing car up ahead. These are these lovely retro Group C style Le Mans prototype cars, and they are absolutely steaming their way around the track. I don't think we've seen a lap under 1 minute 30 from any of the other classes. 1 minute 17.6 is Inigo Anton's best lap so far, and he is right on the tail of Zephy through the left-hander. You see, he just opens up the gap a little bit there through the corners of that dirty air. See how much track there Inigo is using to stay with him in the corners, and through the right-hander of turn 2 now we go. Will he be able to make the move? He slips out, he takes a bit of a wider line to just avoid a bit of that dirty air, and down the straightaway now, he will have the slipstream. He will have Josh, who will have the double toe behind as well. So we will see which one of these drivers comes out on top, or if again, Inigo will come just short of being able to challenge for that P4 position at the end of the straight.
We are on board with Josh Berwin. As you say, he's got that double toe. Inigo tries to nip through the inside again. A really solid racing line being taken by Haris Zephy. All the while these are racing, they're losing ground on the front 3. Reyes, Naquib and Nabil. Reyes is still leading by 3.3 seconds, so that's good. We'll visit that again, but this is a thrilling battle at the moment for P4. Haris Zephy in the blue has been defending like this for the best part of 6 laps.
Wow. This P4 driver is doing a brilliant job here. Is Haris, and for the left-hander we go, though Inigo is right on the tail once again. So will he try and make something happen here? He's thinking about a move. You can see it on his face, or you can see it in his mind the way he drives. The company left-hander now, Inigo Anton, where we had the camera, Zephy popping up very quickly there. As will we see a lunge from the inside there of Inigo Anton? Yes, we will. He gets his nose up there, and into the rear goes Josh. That's a spin off the track for Josh there. Josh Perwin has bottled it into turn 2. He has gone into the rear of the drivers battling, and that will see him tumbling down the order. We saw that he had a different set of tires on. We saw that the strategy could be working out, but his driver is another spin there as well. Who was that?
Tasby again.
Tasby again. So that's very unfortunate there for Josh. There you go. That's that third option I was talking about.
You got it in the end. Well done, that man. Fine. Well done. Also, well done, that man, Inigo Anton, amidst all the mayhem, amidst the little touch that pushed Perwin into the dirt. He has taken P4, Inigo Anton, and got past that frustrating obstacle called Haris Zephy Shami.
Yeah, and very unfortunate then for the Australian driver Josh Perwin. He looked poised to be better off on those hards, and I think those hards could give him a chance to make a pretty good recovery towards the end of the race, but where that strategy could have potentially played for the win, it's now probably looking maybe for a top 5 at best. But here we see Russell Reyes, your race leader so far, and he's still holding onto that gap to the Azlan brothers behind. Inigo Anton now has to try and find 8 seconds to Nabil and Naquib up ahead, and it is going to be quite a big ask. Well, although already down to 7.3 seconds is Inigo Anton, so he's got some pace in his pocket, and he's getting down the track like a rocket.
25 minutes still to race, but in the next 4 minutes or so we'll be thinking about pit stops. So this lap, the next 3 laps or so may well decide. I'm pretty sure you're right about Josh Berwin. That hard compound, unless he's done some real damage to his tyres with that spin out, he will stay out there as long as he can and then maybe go on to soft for a sprint to home. But Russell Reyes and everybody else is on the medium compounds. So do you leave it as late as you can and then go for soft compounds so you can sprint in home?
Well, I think it really comes down to what your battle is right now. If you're Reyes, you probably want to take a bit more of a conservative approach. You don't necessarily need those softer tires if you can avoid it, because you don't want to have to worry about high wear at the end, leaving yourself exposed to the drivers behind. Whereas, if you're in a Naquib or in a Nabil and you decide to jump onto those softs, you might have the better tires early on into the stint. By the time you catch up to the car ahead, your tires might be falling off the cliff. So there are plenty of ways to play for it here, and I almost suspect that the two Azlan brothers, Naquib and Nabil, will play opposite directions with their strategy, whether it's coordinated or whether it's because they want to beat them.
Well, we're not quite there yet, but we won't be far off. We are approaching the halfway mark of the final race of the eRGP season. All thanks to our sponsors, Royal Selangor, Casio, who are the official timekeeper, and X-Parks. Very appreciative of your support of the work of these sim racers who are from Australia and from the Philippines and from Malaysia and from Singapore. The Aussies, we have had Italians, of course, and we've had Indonesians earlier on, even Dirk Retschel from Germany. So it is a worldwide phenomenon. The more Europeans we get involved, the better. But Russell Reyes is trying to make a name for himself just at the moment. He leads coming into lap 14. But the lead, Kian Butler, is down to 2.5 seconds.
Yeah, so Reyes is either playing conservative with his tyres now, or he has used up too much in the early parts of this race, and the two drivers behind are able to close up now. As we come through the corner though, 2.8 seconds, we're sure that will come down a little bit here, 2.7, 2.3, so the gap does seem to be around 2.4 seconds right now, which would mean that Reyes has to find a little bit of pace, but he's doing a good job so far out in that lead, and we've seen how hard it can be to pass a car, for example, in that Zephy, Anton, and Kerwin battle.
Naquib Azlan from Stratos Motorsports in the red. He took a real gamble on the first lap, didn't he? To come from P15 to get up to P4 by the end of the first lap. Did he take unnecessary risks?
Well, I mean, I saw a red car on the grass going past everyone, so I'm not sure if that was him. But what you have to remember is that you had that absolute chaos at the start, and when drivers are 3 or 4 wide, it's pretty easy to find yourself on the right line and up 3 or 4 positions at a time. And we saw that brilliant move there from Naquib back towards the start of him going up the inside of 2 cars, which at the time was Inigo and Josh, as Naquib is the first one to bite on that alluring hook that is the pit stops. So we'll see what tires he comes for, if any, and we'll see where he comes out in the pack.
So this is the championship leader. He was second in the race when he went into the pit stop. You called it quite right. Nabil Azlan has stayed out, so they're on opposite techniques. Ayman Hazik was the very first into the pit, so he's on his outlap now, but Ayman needs to improve. But he took a hard compound. Sun Idu took a hard compound. Let's have a look at Josh Berwin. He stayed out there as well. He's on the hard compound. I'm assuming Josh is going to stay out for as long as he possibly can. Let's catch up once again with Naquib. Let's see what he comes out with. It's a long pit stop, Kian, and he has put hard compound tyres on again.
Yep, 4 corners come off the tyre, 4 corners come back on, and Naquib Azlan comes out in P11 with the hard compounds. He thankfully has a 4-second gap up ahead to Fazby, so it looks like he will have a bit of space to try and put on some outlap wizardry. Will Nabil react? Will drivers up and down the field react to Naquib Azlan coming to the pits? Will Reyes react? We have yet to see how Reyes will go, and Nabil is coming to the pits now, so we'll see whether he goes onto the hards. We are exactly halfway through the race now, so I don't see why you wouldn't be able to take the mediums to the end, unless there's something that we're missing.
So Reyes is into the pits as well. That means that the man also into the pits is Inigo Anton, as is Harris Zephy. So the man who will be leading the race very shortly will be Brody Steen. So let's hear it for the Aussie. Aussie.
Oi, oi, oi. as we have Brody Steen coming down towards turn 2 now. And he is actually still, Inigo Anton is still out rather, so a bit premature on the Aussie, oi. But we do have 2 Australians up in the podium positions right now, so that we'll let slide for that.
Okay, sorry about that, old chap. Irresistible. So Inigo Anton has stayed out. Now then, he's on medium compounds. Depends how long. Will he go another lap? Maybe 2 laps? He hasn't been in, has he? Inigo didn't go in and out.
No, he hasn't.
No.
So I think maybe he could try and stretch those mediums out and maybe look at the softs. Depends on how hard those mediums can go. Josh definitely one to look into as a source of interest for something different happening, because he is off the P3 right now. There's a 17-second gap to the key behind. So I think he'd filter out probably around P7, P8 if he were to pit now. But we'll see if he can pull off some sort of overcut here on the same compound tires as Naquib.
So there is Naquib in P4. Again, he doesn't need to win the race. It's just Naquib will want to win the race because he has won 4 races so far this season. Each of them were the race number 1 in each round at Salzburgring where it started off. Then he won in Brno. He also had a fastest lap there and a P2 in race 2. He won at Watkins Glen and he won at Mategi where he picked up 44 points. Here's Russell Reyes, who was the race leader when he went into the pits. He comes out in P6. So Josh Purwin is the man who is leading on the track. Naquib Azlan moves up to P2. Nabil, his brother and nearest in the championship, is 1 second behind.
So both Naquib and Nabil there have managed to undercut Reyes, crucially. Reyes on the medium tires now though, so we'll see whether or not he's able to show better pace than the 2 Azlan drivers up ahead. But that is interesting then, that undercut worked so well, and that could leave Josh in a vulnerable position on the inverse strategy as he gets a slowdown penalty, which will not help at all.
Josh Purwin, he is the man leading out on the circuit. His lap time, he's just posted a 1:19. That is slow in terms of this race. You need to be regularly in the 1:18s. There's a lovely slide there. And he decides, I think as he slides, time to come into those pits. So the hard compound just helped him maybe get 1, possibly 2 laps more than anybody else. But is he close enough to the end to go for soft compound? That will be the big gamble. I know Josh likes a gamble.
Josh loves a gamble, but I kind of think not. I think mediums will be the way to go here. You'll have the freshest set of tires, the freshest set of mediums on the grid. As you can see the car jacking up there. Josh is slipping down the order though now already, as we see, as Naquib Azlan has Nabil only 2 tenths behind now through turn 2 rather. So through we go, the keyhole into the back straight. Will Naquib be able to hold off his brother? Nabil will have the straight line speed here because he has that slipstream. You can see him closing up that little bit by little bit. Will he pull out of the toe? Yes, he will. A lunge up the inside for Nabil on his brother Naquib. Will he be able to hold it? He gets through. Will Naquib be able to fight back? It looks like Nabil has held the position and he has been able to get up into P1 now. And Naquib will be trying to find his way back up into P1 also.
Again, I want to talk about the compound. Naquib chose hard, Nabil chose medium compound. So there could well be a little bit of a retribution later on in this race because the hard compound tyres will be a little bit stickier towards the tail end of this race. But Nabil is trying to take advantage of the freshness of his tyres just at the moment, and a 1 second deficit has turned into a 1 second advantage as they come over starting lap 19.
So half a second now from Nabil. Will he try and push as much of the gap as he can to his brother? Will he try and conserve the tyres a bit so he makes sure he has something to defend with at the end of the race? This is all going to come down to these last couple of laps and how their tyre management strategy has played out. So looking a bit further down the field, let's see what we have. We have Naquib and we have Nabil and Naquib, P1, P2. We have Reyes in P3. We have Steen in P4. P5 we have Zephy, and guess who's come out behind Zephy? Inigo Anton, his old friend, back from the start of the race.
They've been dueling with each other for 6 or 7 laps, and it was this same view that Inigo Anton had for so long as well. It was just the rear end of Harris Zephy, and Harris was able to hold him off for best part of 6 laps and eventually an incident that really cost Josh Perwin when Perwin slid off. Inigo Anton slid on inside Haris Zephi. So I think we might have a little bit more frustration coming here for the Filipino.
Yeah, but Inigo Anton here, the GT Radio Eurasia Motorsport. Here he comes, P6 on the mediums. So he will have to deal with a little bit more wear towards the end of the race. But I am surprised at how effective an undercut was. And crucially, that could signal to a period at the end of the race where drivers are just out of grip, where all their ambition might outdo their adhesion.
Good. You've been practicing that, I tell you. Adrian Ferguson and Hamdani are out of the race. Let's very, very quickly break away from this. Just to mention Mohammed Tasby, who's crashed off on a couple of occasions. Very unusual for Tasby from Team Flash. He's normally a very reliable driver, but he's been struggling ever since the first lap as Tasby. He's down in P13, and Son Idu is the man ahead of him in P12. Son Idu, the third of the Australians. Got to go back to that P5 competition though, because Haris Zephi is under pressure from Inigo Anton, and Anton has got the slipstream. Has he got enough space to make the overtake manoeuvre? Again, Haris defends very nicely on the inside. That's my racing line. You're going to have to go around the outside, says Haris.
Yeah, you can almost throw a little bit more in there, Inigo, so come on, you can do it. I think next time around we'll see Inigo either try and get right up the inside, or he could probably try and outbrake to such a degree that he could make something pretty miraculous happen. Because, you know, Zephi is leaving space for the outside, but it might not even come to that. As through the right-hander we go, Inigo Anton is going to challenge for the position, and Zephi is going to go deep. He's going to, however, have the inside for the roundabout as we come around the outside, holds Inigo Anton. He's going to have the inside for the final corner of the lap, and that is Inigo Anton now up in a P5, and he will be trying to close that gap to Steen, who has come out ahead of Anton as well. So that Australian driver then potentially taking note or taking fewer tires. So more shenanigans from the strategy on this race, Des.
So there is Brody Steen. Yeah, you talked about the undercut. That might suggest that just 2 tires are being changed, which is really, really risky. Got to mention the man at the front, Nabil Azlan, has ripped 2.5 seconds clear of Naquib Azlan. So the brothers are really making this a season of their own. This race belongs to them as well. Real talent in that family. But Nabil, now he's always been in the shadow of his brother. So maybe this is the start of the emergence of Nabil, just to start challenging Naquib.
It's always hard to break out the shadow of an older brother, especially when they're taller than you. That shadow is that little bit larger. But here we come. Nabil then is doing a brilliant job so far of capitalizing on that P1 position. Another 10th down the straight. He gains on Naquib, who is on the hard tires, I believe, and on the slightly older tires. So it comes down now to how will these two manage their tires for the race. I suspect around 6 minutes, 5 minutes, we'll see Naquib start closing in. But Russell Reyes for Veloce Ragazzo Squadra is pulling in to Naquib now as well, who is on the mediums. So he will have this little bit of pace advantage on Naquib for the next couple of minutes, and then we might see these mediums start to drop off.
This is the battle for P1, 2 and 3. Thank you for the therapy session you just gave us there. That sounded a very personal thing from you there, Kian, about brothers, older brothers being bigger. You got something to share?
I'm an only child.
It's an imaginary brother. You made him up.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
So Inigo Anton in P5, getting back to the race. Now then, what can Inigo do? He's a long way down. No, he's not. He's a second down on Brody Steen, but those two are a long way down on Russell Reyes and Naquib Azlan, all on the medium compounds. I need to go back up to P2, Kian, because you mentioned that Naquib is on the hard compounds. That might be good for later in the race, but for now, he is losing a lot of ground on his brother for P1, and Russell Reyes is closing up rapidly in P2, to within half a second, in fact.
Here comes Reyes, it comes through the right-hander just behind Naquib. Naquib will be trying to do whatever he can, but look at his face. He's so calm. He feels like he has this under control for now, as he can't just stick too much to his brother. I say that, three more tenths pop up on the screen. And Russell Reyes coming down the straight now. Will he look for the move? He takes the wide line, looking for the potential cutback here on Naquib. come for the left-hander. The keeper's going to take that inside line and try and hold on as well as he can. But around this next corner through the right-hander, and the last time we'll see trying to beach on this lap of asking under the Honda walkover, and through the right-hander at the start of the S's now. Let's see if Russell can close up anymore, but Naquib has been doing a brilliant job of keeping Russell Reyes behind at this point.
Naquib is just like he's on rail tracks. He reads the track line so well, makes it difficult for anybody. Somebody's got to make a spectacular move, and that's what Reyes has got to do as they come round into the final section and move on to lap number 24 of this race. Ahead of them, Nabil has a lead close to 4 seconds. You see him up at the top of the hill. He's almost this full straight ahead, which is one heck of a drive from Nabil Azlan as Reyes continues to try to make his move on the back of Naquib Azlan. Naquib not used to being under pressure in this season 6 of the eRGP.
Yeah, it's really crucial that if Naquib has any pace left over in his pocket, he needs to put it out on the track now and try and break away from Reyes. He doesn't lose too much time in this phase of the tire wear battle to his brother, because if he loses too much time here, he could lose out any chance he has to come back and get back that P1 at the end of this race. But Russell Reyes is doing everything he can to try and not only slow down Naquib, but get past the championship leader.
Into the final 10 minutes of this race, of this season. The champion, the potential champion, unless he crashes out, will be the man in the red, Naquib Azlan. But his own professional pride will tell him that he certainly wants to hold on to P2, and quite rightly, as Kian Butler has been describing, would like to get closer and closer to Nabil Azlan, his brother, in P1, as those medium compound tyres wear down just a little bit. But for now, Naquib has got to deal with Russell Reyes. Behind them, Brody Steen is now feeling the pressure from Inigo Anton. This is a good battle for P4. Inigo's been involved in a lot of good racing today. We've seen lots of overtaking. 4th place would be a fair reward if he gets past the Aussie Brody Steen.
Inigo Anton has been a brilliant driver so far in this race, and he has put the pressure on Zephy, on anyone he's been battling, but not overstepped the line and made any mistakes so far. Let's see if he is able to get past Brody Steen, who we are on board with now. You see in that right-hand mirror, you can see Inigo Anton is staying in that slipstream, and now we see that not missing rear wing, and it's staying a pretty stable margin, but look how much he gains on the braking there. Does Inigo Anton. So through the left-hander of turn 5 into the right-hander of turn 6. Will Inigo be able to hook up any sort of better run? I think his best chance will be down Thunderdale, if not before the carousel. And then we'll be looking back around the keyhole and the start line once again for when Inigo has the next chance to attack.
Talking of an attack, Naquib is under pressure from Russell Reyes once again. This is the battle for P2. Ahead of them, you just saw the pink car of Nabil Azlan race through. Russell Reyes tries to get into the slipstream, but Naquib again just makes that car to be almost twice as wide as it really is. If you get past Naquib Azlan, you've worked for it.
Yeah, you really have. Naquib is a brilliant driver when it comes to racecraft, and he's putting it all on the plate to show today. He's got nothing left to lose. He's got the championship in his pocket, more or less. He's out here to have fun. Russell Reyes is out here to see what he can do, and around the outside challenges Russell Reyes from Naquib Azlan. Naquib takes up the inside line, but the cutback from Russell around the outside. Can he hold it? Naquib is going to go deep once again. That's again a cutback from Russell, and he's going to hold around the outside, and he's going to look for the cutback the 3rd time. No, that's going to be Naquib, who maintains P2. So a brilliant battle there. Half a second loss to his brother, but he maintains that P2 position for the time being.
While that battle was going on, Inigo Anton found his way past Brody Steen. Those two battles were going on simultaneously. I thought Naquib was the more important one, but Inigo Anton now gets himself up into P4. And what that will do, well, it'll cement his position in 3rd place in the overall championship. But it looks like Nabil is going to pick up P2 in the overall championship, as well as potentially this race. But again, it just shows to prove how competitive Inigo Anton has proven to be this season.
Yeah, P4 for Inigo Anton. If he comes back next season, you could definitely see him challenge for that championship position. There are drivers up and down the field that are able to do that. Josh Perwin being one that I think could do it. But as we saw a little bit today, just potentially every now and then getting a little bit too single-minded on his track, and just I don't even know what happened. I think he just kind of ran into the back of Inigo and Zephy when they were battling. But 4 seconds is the gap between P1, P2. Another half a tenth, 3 tenths now is the gap between Rays and Naquib Azlan, 2 tenths. So these two drivers are still going at it. 5 minutes to go here, Des. I'm gonna give you this one to call. Do you think Azlan or Rays will come out in P2?
I trust Naquib Azlan. I think you said it before when we had the inset of him. He just looked so calm, like he was in control. He's got the harder wearing tyres as well. So he's in this for the long run. He's a very cool, calculating chap. He looks a lovely fella on the outside. On the inside, he has a brain and a heart of steel.
Yeah, look at that jersey. Leaves you green with envy as he comes through that turn 1 corner as we get ready to go into turn 2 as well. Rays is now dropping back a little bit, so this could be that tire switchover point, but 4 minutes in, I think that might just be too late for him to try and challenge Nabil on the head. He's done a brilliant job of extending this gap out to his brother after taking a different strategy and making the most of it.
4 laps to go. 4 seconds is probably too far as Rays tries to go duck through on the grass and then a switchback. But Naquib says, listen, this is my circuit, this is my line. You've got to try that switchback. And Rays is being ultra aggressive at the moment. Loving the work of Russell Rays. But Naquib, you look at the inset bottom right. His heart might be going palpitating at some pace, but he just looks so cool.
Yeah, look at him. Cool as a cucumber. Cucumbers are pretty cool, aren't they? Anyway, so coming down the straightaway, we have Naquib Azlan and we have Russell Rays behind. We're the left-hander now of turn 11, getting ready to go into the roundabout here. And these two have been line astern for the last few laps. Nabil has been reveling in it, and Brody Steen and Inigo Anton are the two drivers that could potentially try and pull up. Josh Perwin has a slowdown penalty back in P7, 17 seconds adrift from Zephy, so you don't really see much happening for him there. Nazri Azlan is 4 tenths back from Ayman Akeem now, so we could see something here. A couple of battles on the track that are potentially shaping up as we see the only Porsche on the track in that Momo livery.
Yeah, the Porsche looks lovely, but it has struggled a little bit all season. Once again, Naquib under pressure from Reyes. Reyes had a go at this part of the track last time. Naquib just kept his line absolutely perfect. Reyes again tries the switchback. Naquib says, I've got the racing line, I've got the railway tracks. Reyes, you're going to have to work extra hard. But for the second time, same place on the circuit, Reyes, Kian Butler, looks like he thinks that is the place that he can capitalise.
The definition of insanity is trying the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Reyes has to try something different here to get past Naquib, because Naquib has proven that as long as he holds that inside line through turn 4, he will come out on top. So maybe a little bit of a double move, maybe just try something bombastic and energetic. Come on, Reyes, you can try it, you can do it.
In the meantime, Nabil Azlan has the lead. Sorry, we had a shot there of Naquib. Sorry to the race director. Nabil has the lead. In fact, such a big lead. He's overtaken. He has lapped a couple of competitors. Is that right? Has he lapped? Surely. Yeah, he has. That was Mohammed Tasby. Tasby, who's really not used to being lapped. But Nabil Azlan is leading by over 4 seconds from Naquib. You can see Reyes is prepared to have another go. Now then, Tasby might become a distraction for Naquib Azlan. So let's see if Reyes is able to capitalise on that back marker.
And this is the one variable in the mix. This is the one variable in the mix that Mr. Reyes might have hoped for, but it is a good back marker. It is Sonny who has pulled off to the side to make way for Naquib and Reyes. And Naquib now starting to gap Reyes a little bit, so you can see those hard tires starting to come into their own a little bit on the penultimate lap, but it's not going to be enough as Nabil is still 3.5 seconds ahead. So a couple of attempts taken out of the lap from Naquib compared to Nabil, but it's not quite enough to get him close to where he needs to be.
So we come on to the final lap of the ERGP season 6. Nabil Azlan has the lead If this is a confirmed victory, he will secure himself second place in the overall championship standings. It could still be an overall victory if Naquib Azlan doesn't finish the race, so he'll be hoping. But Nabil has done all he possibly can. Behind him, Naquib Azlan will be doing his best to hold on to P2 ahead of a determined effort from Russell Reyes. But we are on board with Nabil at the moment. A rare moment in the spotlight for Nabil. He's just got to negotiate this final lap. He's negotiated superbly the previous 31, so no reason why he shouldn't.
He's been consistent all season long. He's not won a race yet in this season, has Nabil. His brother has taken a few victories. He has not. Here he comes now. He will be rounding out these last couple of corners on the medium tires. His brother is trying to close in a little bit, but 3.5 seconds is such a comfortable gap. It's almost like going to bed with a nice cup of cocoa in your hand. As we come around the roundabout, Nabil Azlan for Stratos Motorsport is going to come across the line as he rounds the final corner to win the final race, the final round in the eRGP Global Edition Gold class in this race here at Mid-Ohio.
Nabil Azlan takes it for Malaysia. Naquib Azlan comes through in P2. Russell Reyes from the Philippines, a very good P3, ahead of Inigo Anton in P4. There, though, is your season's champion for the second time. He does a donut as well for us. Nabil Azlan takes the victory. Naquib Azlan takes the overall championship. Great commentary, Kian Butler. Great to have you on board from Perth. Thanks for that. And we hand over now to Alex Young for the celebration.
Right, everyone's celebrating. It's end of class, end of school, end of term. But we have to talk to Nabil Azlan first. Nabil, you know, what a great drive that was. You know, that's your first win, I think, in Global Edition 5.
In gold, yeah.
In gold. I mean, you've won races in silver. So first win in gold, congratulations. And a brilliant move to overtake and beat your older brother.
I was pretty confused because I thought we would have to overtake him a bit more difficultly, but he kind of like just gave way. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll just take it. And then I made the gap bigger and bigger, and then took home the victory.
It's your first victory over him in equal situation?
In any situation, I think this is my first victory.
Well done. Well deserved. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Confirmation of the results. Nabil over Naquib. Russell Reyes, a very good P3. Inigo Anton, a very good P4. It's been a good season for him. Brody Steed, best result for a long time for the Australian in 5. Haris Zephi, pleased for Haris Zephi, ahead of Ayman Hakim and Nazir. Wow. 3 Azlan brothers in the top 8. Jim Masfilton had the fastest lap, would you believe? A race to forget, though, for Mohammed Tasbi. Early finishes for Adrian Ferguson and Mohammed Hamdani. However, the champion, Alex Young, Naquib Azlan, take it away.
Naquib, well done. You want to, first of all, before we talk about the championship, let's talk about the race. How was your race?
Oh, yeah, honestly, I think I'm quite disappointed, actually. I had the sight. My whole goal was to win this race, you know, and I'm definitely sure we could have won it. Unfortunately, the start I had some contact with another driver, I'm not sure who, and I had suspension damage. So from lap 1, I was kind of on lip home mode because it was eating up my left tire.
Right.
Had to change strategy midway, go onto the harder tires, so hence why I was really slow. I didn't want to hold back Nabil, let him pass. So yeah, and then I didn't expect to be able to hold off Russell at the end.
Yeah.
I was expecting to be really quick, but yeah, again, Azlan won too.
Yeah, well, you were super aggressive off the line, wasn't he, Des? And I think maybe that's why you had that suspension damage. I think you went from like 15th.
15 to 4th.
15 and 4th within a lap and a half. So that was pretty incredible. So yeah, going to the hard tire though. Yeah, so we saw you go to the hard tire, and that's when Nabil got back through because he had a better tire. And you think it helped you at the end because Russell was all over you for a while, but in the last couple of laps he dropped back.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure the mediums could have made it comfortably, and I think he should have overtaken me, but I don't know. I think he must have eaten up his tires early on, but I think
clever
overall,
defending.
Yeah.
Des.
Well, congratulations as always once again. A back-to-back victories. You worked so hard to get that victory. You've made it a bit of a habit. If and when we have season 7, you're coming back to defend your title?
Time will tell, but I think if you guys mind, I know I'd like to take some time to give thank you to my family, given me support from day one since I started sim racing. To James, he's been a lot of support in the background, and to everyone watching, really, and to you guys back in eRGP who hold these competitions. It's amazing.
Oh,
Glad to be back.
Thank you very much. There speaks the champion, Alex Young.
Fantastic. Thanks for talking to us, Naquib, and good luck for the next thing you do.
Thank you.
So, season 6 comes to a close, and we have a familiar name at the top of the leaderboard. He was outstanding all season. He won a race in all bar the 5th and final round. He was the outstanding racer right from the start. Probably too good, Alex. Therein lies a problem.
Yeah, we might need a platinum class for drivers like that. But yeah, I mean, he was, like you said, he'd been the bridesmaid so many times, finally won Global Edition 5. And you see that happen with drivers in many different categories. They get that little bit of success, and it gives them the confidence to really push on again. And that's where we see Naquib this weekend and pretty much the whole of Global Edition 6. Just being on a slightly different level from everyone else. But it'd be fun to watch the others try and raise their levels to catch up, because for sure they will. And we go into a break now, and we're back at Global Edition 7 in a few months.
Indeed. So congratulations to Naquib Azlan. Back-to-back season victories in eRacing GP Global Edition. Our thanks once again to our sponsors, Royal Selangor, to Casio for the official timekeeping, and to the Z-Parks, X-Parks, which are great racetracks to race around. My lap times will improve once I get allowed racing. This has been eRacing GP. It's the brainchild of Alex Young. Hope you've enjoyed it. We'll see you next season.